and welcome to Joseph's Model Railway and Toy Room. Some of it's covered up over there. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, just a little bit of housekeeping. You don't need to like, follow or subscribe. You're all far too busy to be doing other important things, so don't worry about me, because I just put the videos out there where I can and have a holly jolly great time doing so. Now, today's video, I know some of you have been getting a little bit impatient and wanting to get back to some model railway and seeing some action happening. Now, we are going to, but the reason we've been seeing a few shorter videos lately is just there is a lot going on in my other world besides this room. And obviously with the build up to Christmas in 2023, there's a lot that needs to happen. So rather than stop altogether and just say I'll see you in the new year, I might space these out a little bit and give you a few short ones, but rest assured, I'm really trying to deliver the best I possibly can for you. So in this video though, it is reasonably important, and I think it's important to those of you particularly who are thinking or may already be doing something to do with shooting your videos and things like that. Now, I'm not just talking about YouTube. I'm just talking about maybe you're in a railway club or it's your own personal layout and you're looking at improving some hardware to make sure you're getting good shots. As you can tell by my videos, that is certainly not at the #1 priority at the moment. I'm desperate to get my editing suite updated at the moment. Story for another day. But at the moment, I shoot all the videos just using my iPhone, and here we are. But I want to talk to you about probably my most invaluable tool that is probably taken from my world of doing entertainment and DJing and live sound and reinforcement and lighting and things like that. We're going to take a brand that I trust completely in that industry, especially when I'm on the road with equipment. And I am sick of everything else that was offered, and I took from there and brought it over, and the application that I've purchased is just specifically for this room. So what the heck am I talking about? And what is so good about this invaluable little gadget? Well, why don't you join me today and we're going to have a look at what it's all about. And let me just give you a little bit of an advanced apology now, since what I'm talking about is partly what I'm looking at. So we may need to use 2 series of phones to shoot this footage. But let's have a quick look and see what this little magic thing is. So yes, this is something not specifically to do with the model railway and indeed the toy room per se, but I thought I'd just take a little moment to share what I'm doing when it comes to shooting these particular videos. I'm not getting complicated with the technology side of it or anything like that. I'm not shooting on super high quality studio cameras or anything like that. Pretty much we just turn some lights on, and what I've been using for the time has actually just been my cell phone or iPhone, or any smartphone would do these days. I think the cameras are more than capable, and when I do shoot, I always do shoot in 4K, usually at 60 frames a second by default. However, because of the LED lighting in the room, you'll obviously notice that I drop it back to 24 frames a second for those of you with a very keen eye. I just wanted to quickly talk about some key tools. I only probably have about a dozen tools I can think of on the top of my head where companies have got something so right, I come along and depend upon them in my daily life. And this probably isn't a necessity in some ways, but the company founds the ethos and methodology that really rings out true in this particular application. So shooting the videos, as you would be well aware, I need to usually have the phone sitting on some sort of a tripod, and that's exactly how this is happening right now. It's sitting there right now. We'll bring it into shot later, and thank you to my wife who is letting me use her phone, so I'll be able to demonstrate with my phone. But first of all, as we started in the beginning, I literally would have my phone sitting down on the bench work, bring it into shot, and I would shoot it, and it was doing quite well, and it made a nice level shot, no problems at all. Of course, you've noticed in some videos, sometimes they're a little bit wonky. Thanks to a recent update, we now have an auto leveler in the iPhone, which can tell us when we're on level or not. But that's why you'll often see, I often shoot a lot of videos where I'll come into the corner, just like they were doing in the sitcom Seinfeld. They often refer to shooting a lot of scenes into corners.
Obviously, it gives them great leveling options because it doesn't really matter because you're not always looking at a dead set level object. And the other thing is you can frame off a nice scene using corners, which of course is exactly what we do doing the model railway, as we've seen with the golf course and other little scenes. So I obviously moved on to one of these sort of cheaper types of tripods you can get, and they're quite good because you could wrap them up and sit them up, and I was getting quite good angles and this and that. But after probably less than 12 months, the bracket did snap off, and that's mostly because it just was always a struggle getting it onto the size of my phone. And I apologize for that fly buzzing around in the background, but take great comfort that, as you can see, I am making progress, and there will be a video coming up shortly regarding my approach to what I'm doing with ballasting. But anyway, the next one is another little tripod here that when this one broke, I thought I'll get another one. These seem quite good, wrap them around everything, and we carry on. The problem is, as you can see, it's exceptionally lightweight. Of course, it can go anywhere you want it to go quite easily, sits nicely. The problem is when we start to introduce the weight of an actual phone, things fall apart very quickly. So much so that we'll get this one out of the way because it's broken. So look, these are a good way to go, but just don't expect some flexibility depending on what you're doing. For something that needs to sit on a tabletop where it's usually quite level, this might be the way to go for you. For me, this is no good at all. So we've got this little red one here, and to be fair, by the time we mount, this is a, don't know, iPhone 12, 13, I don't know what this is. By the time we actually sit it onto its thing, remember our little spring-loaded clip to hold the phone in place is tight. And if we're putting the phone like this, not too bad. As soon as we start introducing some angles, things start to get a little bit wobbly, and it's not really an ideal situation as a tripod goes. So for me, and especially as you can see there, just that weight, and when I usually will have the phone to get to the heights I need wrapped onto a tripod, this is just not cutting the mustard at all. So I thought, well, hang on a minute, before we go any further, when it comes to stands of any description in the entertainment industry, I was given some sound advice years ago from a musician who said to me when I needed to sub-hire a few musical stands, I said, oh, is this all right? He said, it's a K&M. In other words, it's its own warranty. The company, Koenig & Meyer, really make sound stuff, and they do. Here is one of the speaker stands that I use when I'm DJing. This particular one has done more than 1,000 gigs. And okay, it's a bit scratched up in areas, but all in all, it's not looking too bad. Remember, by the time we flip it open, put it down, we'd flick the other one up as well, even without, I'm not even going to slide a locking pin in, but you can see it holds it. And I can come along, I usually will have a 40 kilogram speaker sitting on top of this. And remember, where I live, often a lot of the weddings will be on the beach, will be in the sand, they'll be out on a property, it'll be on a deck, and sometimes it's on a lovely carpeted ballroom. But the simple fact is, these speaker stands, which are really no more expensive than any other ones you might be buying, really go the distance. So whether it's music stands, speaker stands, lighting stands, instrument stands, K&M or Koenig Meyer really have done their homework and got this right. So I'm more than happy to stick with this theory. So I think to myself, I've seen the musicians with their iPads and things like that attached to music stands. There must be a solution. Ta-da! Koenig & Meyer. This is the smartphone holder. It's nice and simple. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is coming in, I want to say, $100 or even more. So compared to this one that can be had for $10, this is quite a bit more. But this is the sort of product where I'll never need to replace this for the rest of my life unless there's a different size phone that we need to accommodate. And or indeed it does get broken in some bizarre way. But knowing the quality, it's a sound investment. I've never looked back since. I obviously took delivery of this particular stand a little bit before we unveiled the cricket ground, and I've been using it ever since. So let me bring you in quickly and just show you how all this works. Let's get a little bit tricky here. I'm going to show it to you in action while I'm filming this section. Get my trusty cell phone, 24 frames a second, we'll bring it up. And here is my wife's iPhone currently sitting on the stand at the moment. So there's nothing fancy, it's just a typical tripod stand that we've got it sitting on, and there is the holder itself. Now I'm going to come in and give you a bit of a closer look at that just to show you what we're dealing with. And here is the stand. It's really not quite as intimidating as you may well expect. But as always, a lot of engineering into every little piece about this is what makes it such a winner. So first of all, we've got a clamp. Now for the most part, usually this will be attached to our traditional music stands, which are a lot thinner. Microphone stands, things like that, they are thinner. But you can see we've got an adjustable clamp so we can lock down for where we need to be. And again, here on the standard sort of speaker stand that we're using here, it pretty much fits without me even having to do that clamp up much. Again, it's obviously fully flexible, but it's a nice sort of a stiff flexibility too, that you'll have to work hard to bring it into position, but not in a bad way. The good thing is it means it's going to hold even with some substantial weight. Again, we can obviously loosen up to get our key alignments where we need. And here's the thing, once we've locked it into the place that we want, we still have this probably 10-20 degrees of flexibility to move as needed. Now, the other thing as well, which is absolutely fantastic, is that, of course, we have a spring-loaded clamping system to place our phone into position. So once again, we'll just grab my wife's phone so we can pop it into position, lock it down with the clamps, and it's good to go. Now, most importantly, with most of my videos, I don't lock them all the way. As you can see, I can actually go a further lock down. I don't. I leave it like that because usually our phone will be sitting this way. Remember, I'll always have the camera facing so it's not against the stand. And pretty much if we were to open up our camera, here's where we are. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And of course we can get where we need to be, and you can see if we look carefully, there's a little white line, and when it goes yellow, I'll just bring it up again, that's our leveling line. So when we hit the yellow, it'll disappear and we know we're exactly on the level. But that being said though, it really is fantastic. I mean, the only downside you've seen in some is when I come to the ultra wide angle, you can see we're just starting to clip in on the image where the stand actually is. And sometimes I'll augment that by twisting the camera around to try and dither it out where needed. Or of course I can stretch it out. Remember, that's still going to hold in place even over here, although it needs another level, and we can work accordingly. But really, this is a fantastic stand. There's nothing I haven't been able to do. As you've seen in a lot of overhead shots, I've simply clamped it on the top shelf and then just had it facing down. So I think it's an absolutely tremendous thing. It's just a quick video today just to show you my approach to what I do. So I just shoot my footage on the iPhone, take it to the Mac, just using iMovie, quickly whack a bit of an edit together, and ta-da, that's another video complete. But of course, as you can see, there's a lot of action that is going on in the distance because we haven't seen a quality train video in just a bit. But rest assured, we are in full production as the gantries are well underway, and we're going to talk about ballasting, and we're also going to have a quick chat shortly regarding wiring up our points. So lots to happen now, scenery-wise, lots happening as well behind me, as you will see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, as always, thank you so much for joining me in yet another video. Again, it is just a short one, but rest assured we've got some top quality products coming up shortly, including the main feature of the disused section, which is absolutely, we're working onto that coastal scene. We've got ballasting coming up, we've got points coming up, all happening before Christmas 2023. So it's an exciting time now as we carry on. Thank you so much as always for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Toodles.